I'll do that in a second.
Okay, no problem.
Well,
We'll start out with the easy questions, like the
Fashion.
you guys got to wear the most amazing costumes. We were just like blown away by the costumes. I just wondering for each of you, did you have a favorite, either of your own or someone else's?
Ruth Carter did an awesome job. I think one of my favorites were the jewel, the orange and black, and I think those were so brilliant and so part of the time, you know. And I felt so sexy in it, and I love the short haircuts. I don't know, it was
it
fun.
felt very London sort of fashion moment for me, so I totally dug it. Very Mary Quant and those sort of beat out sassoon cuts. So it was, no, the references were really strong and really authentic.
Yeah.
You know, she really knows her stuff. She knows her, like, there's like Rudy Gernreich references, and there's Balenciaga, and it like goes across the whole like palette, which is fun.
Well, I tell you, when your character went to the Afro, did you help you get in touch with when you were with the Afro?
Oh,
switched
yeah,
to the
yeah,
Afro.
yeah.
Did it help you get in touch with the Motown sound and the times that you were portraying?
You know, when I put on that afro, you know what? Afros make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Like you feel very strong. You feel like you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I think for Dee, it was a transition where she was getting to know herself, like what she believed in, what movement she was a part of. She was proud, you know, the I'm black and I'm proud kind of thing. But she's like an intelligent woman. It's not like she was already an intelligent woman. I just think this was a point where she knew what direction she was going. She knew what she wanted in life. She knew what movement she was going to be a part of, and it just made you feel a certain way. I think it's a strength factor. She was just pulling more strength, and because it takes strength to wear an afro now. People looking at you like, what the heck? Especially during that time in the beginning, you know, in the beginning where it wasn't so cool. You know, you saw the looks that people were giving her, especially in the white arena. You know, so and even her sister was like, really? What is that? So I don't know.
It's always safe to don't go long. You know, it really is.
It is.
It's still the case for girls to play, you know. So I think, I got it easy.
You did. You were like, she always kind of glamorous.
Until the prison stuff. Then it gets a bit dodgy.
Mara did something interesting in that in sort of rewriting the story of Sparkle. She made all of your characters much stronger, in my opinion. Can you talk about what you feel that added to? And were you both familiar with the original film very much?
Not at all. No. I mean, I knew the musical numbers, but I didn't. I don't know quite how strong Sister's character is in the original.
Like Sister, for example, when we see her beaten, you know, the next time we see Satin, we realize that she's given back.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But she's still. It's funny because we had long conversations about that. Because I felt that she was still ultimately a victim.
Yeah.
And you know that essentially there's that she's being preyed upon. She's in a toxic relationship, and we all know, you know, what that sort of looks like, and that she's dimming her light. But yes, with the support system that she has, and perhaps with some kind of inner strength that maybe wasn't in that original Sister, she finds her way out. She does find that strength to fight back. Stronger for sure.
In
your character.
In my character, I mean, in the original, Dee didn't really have a voice at all. She was barely there. So I'm just glad that, you know, Mara decided to expand upon that character and make Dee have a strong voice, a strong sense of self. I think she's kind of like her mom in that way. She doesn't hold her tongue for anybody, whether it hurts you or whatever. It's there to protect you. And I think she loves her sisters so much that, like her and our relationship sometimes is a little volatile, but it's only because I love her. And I kind of see that in Whitney's character, you know, the way she treated us all our lives, even in that one scene with my mom and I where I'm like, I know at times you didn't let us do certain things, but I know it was because of your love. I feel like that's mirroring my character to what I do to them sometimes, where it sometimes seems like I'm Debbie Downer when really I'm not. I'm just making sure we get paid, you know what I mean? So that's what
You both talked about your scenes with Whitney, that dinner table scene where you're
you bring your man home and it doesn't go away. It doesn't go. What are your memories of that scene with especially that heavy, funny memory between you and Whitney
funny.
though? I mean, that part.
Yeah,
was,
really funny all round because it was it somehow remarkably ends up on screen a really serious moment in the movie.
Yeah.
But it took us hours of Mike Epps acting like a total fool.
No,
And
not
like,
right.
no, really, and just being
Right.
so out there that Whitney,
Nobody can hold
oh
it
my
together.
God, Whitney was the worst.
She was like,
she was the worst. And she just, any chance to have a good old laugh, she was right there.
yeah. And
At
we were,
my expense, 'cause
Right.
I'm like the one that's trying to find this emotion in like really serious. But we got there.
we got you. I mean, it came out awesome, but it was
really,
it was.
we're not exaggerating. That was crazy.
How many takes? How many hours?
Oh, we were just
We're talking about the same lines
Oh my
for
God.
hours.
hours,
Same
and we just couldn't stop laughing.
So Mike started it, or he's the one?
Mike is
The
the
one, 'cause
culprit.
it was like all mumble jumble coming out, and he has his own little like improvisational thing that goes on that doesn't sometimes is like genius and then sometimes makes no sense at all. And we got like mostly no sense at all, and then like glimmers of genius, and that's what's on the screen. Thank God.
But that was the funniest. I think
Yeah.
that's a memorable moment for us. And maybe when it's on DVD, they'll show some cuts because it was freaking hilarious. The camera's there, and we're like literally. I'm literally going like this.
I was like, this is the most important scene of my career, people. Get it together. You know, and God. Yeah,
Now,
it's
a movie
funny.
like Sparkle, to me personally, and I know to many others, is the original. Is legacy. Were you two apprehensive or excited when you found out that you were going to be a part of such an amazing film?
Well, it didn't become more apparent to me just how sort of beloved it was until, you know, there were certain people like, what, you think you're remaking Sparkle kind of thing? It's like, well, yeah, what?
Right, yeah.
You know, I think we've really shifted from the original enough that I think it's going to be apples and oranges. They're so different.
Yeah.
They're so different in so many ways. The essence of the original is there, but we've made great departures that I think improve upon the original. I actually think the original, there was space to improve upon it. It's not like it was perfection,
Right.
that there was nowhere to go.
Right.
You know, there are some masterpieces that you don't touch.
Right.
This had brilliant ideas. It was perfect territory to take even further.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what we did.
We filled in and made it our own, I feel like.
Carmen, was this the, well, I'm going to say, was this the darkest character you ever played or the most challenging character you played in your career?
Let me see what I've done.
Oh
Oh yeah. No, it's funny. I was laughing at this because I tend not to play sort of light characters. I'm drawn to intense roles. I can't help
You make
it.
them look at your CV.
I know. Well, I know they're consistently like about the work. I don't think I've ever done anything where I'm just like the nice girl that's sort of just playing pretty. I've never done that.
Well, they have
Well,
the fewest lines too.
Right, typically. Although sometimes having no lines can be powerful
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah.
I think what's a major departure on this role for me is playing sexy. I've never played that before.
Holy, you'd never guess that. You're good.
Well, and the only reason I gave myself license to do it was because I knew that for an audience, and as a message to an audience in this day and age of like rampant celebrity like worship, vacuous celebrity worship, really, that's her downfall. It's the fact that she that's the currency that she cashes in, is her sexuality and her superficiality, as opposed to there's no substance there beyond that she knows of herself yet. She doesn't know who she is beyond that, for all sorts of reasons that are really tragic and not necessarily entirely her own fault, but that's what she's working with. And so I gave myself license to play fully that, because that's what destroys her. It's exactly that.
Well, Celine was saying a little bit earlier that this is a very American story, and not even African American, but an American story.
Totally.
But I was just wondering, for you coming from London, I mean, was this music, was there, what aspect of this could you relate to the most, or could you not relate to, that you really just had to act it, you know? What was...
Sure. Well, I think, I mean, as a woman, as a young woman that's been a teenager, that's been a 20-something, you know, that's... I understand what that pressure can be to sort of find your value through men. You know, that this business in particular really sort of makes you feel like if you're sexy enough, if you're young enough, if you're cute enough, that's where you're going to succeed. That's where you're going to get your ticket to whatever it is you think you're going for. And I fought against that my entire career. So that I totally related to. I understood that in her. I knew what that pressure was. She succumbs to it. I just haven't, hopefully, in my real life.
You won't.
Yeah, it's not going to happen at this point, babe. You know, and the music is totally universal. I mean, there's no human on the planet that isn't into this era of music, no matter where you're from. So that wasn't such a huge stretch for me to get into that. The fashion,
Yes.
totally. It's like,
Amazing.
come on, the hair and makeup, you know, it's like, it's all there to be enjoyed and to play with as an actress. And then there are things that you have to do consistently. If you're an English person playing Americans for most of your career, then you've got to do the accent, you've got to work on that, you've got to, you know, there are definitely cultural subtleties that I wanted to be aware of. The whole sort of church world is something very, very specifically African American, very American in terms of just like really sort of fervent worship in that to that level. So there are definitely things, but that's what makes it fun. You know, that's what makes it worth it researching.
What about your stage presence? All of you guys have really good stage presence. How hard did you work on that?
Just turn
I
up.
will. Yeah, I know. I don't think it's something you work on. It's something that you either
Have or
Yeah,
it's so weird to
kind
say
of.
it. You either have it or you don't. No, that sounds terrible.
vain,
But it's true. I mean, in a way, but we worked on it. We
I was going to say, it's hard to hold the microphone the way a singer holds.
in terms of the musical
Yeah.
numbers.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
that's something else. Yeah, that's a different thing for both of us.
Yeah, and choreography, like
yeah,
it was a different thing.
Yeah, that is.
It was a different beast.
And to look like a musical performer as opposed to an actor being like trying to look like you're singing kind of thing.
But
You
the-
guys did that well. You look like singers.
Well,
but the
that's-
cool thing about it, what I love about our performance, it feels like it's accessible. It's not like we're like already there and we're like, you know, we're perfect in every motion. It's like the gritty girls who are at home doing their own choreography, putting it together, doing their own makeup and hair. Even though everything was awesome, I felt like it's a moment where in Motown, these three girls were home putting it all together.
Right.
It's like, you know, Deborah Martin Chase, the producer of the movie, and I think the same is true for Whitney, who obsessed over this movie when she was 13. She would be at the cinema every Saturday
Watching
for
it.
months when this first came out. There was, and Deborah used to go to sparkle parties.
Yep.
Because they would literally practice all the dance routines
Yeah.
and they would emulate these girls. I feel like we've kept that sentiment is
Yes.
in this movie.
Yes.
These are girls that are aspiring to be Diana. They're aspiring to be Tina, or not so much Tina necessarily, but you know, it's
In that arena.
sphere.
Yeah.
You see that in them, and you see the rise. And it's not like Dreamgirls, where a lot of the film is they've made it, and it's that polished thing going on. It's they only just about they get to their best performance, and then she's doing the drugs. You know, it's all over before it really begins. And it's that rise that I think is accessible, and I think girls and young women are going to totally relate to.
How do you look
We've
back?
all done that.
How do you look back on your experience of working with Whitney now that she's no longer with us?
God, what a gift, really. Because I mean, you know, it's very easy to get sort of distracted and sort of just be persuaded by the sort of sensationalist tabloid past 6 months that it was just this doomed scenario. But if you actually take a step back, I was, the day that I found out that she died, I was in Belize, where there was no TV, there was no radio, there was nothing, there was no access to all of that junk. And so I literally was just me in front of an ocean, meditating on her entire body of work. And that, and my personal experience in the movie with her, the real connection that I had with this real person. So all that fluff was out of the room, out of my head. And the body of work is stunning.
Stands by itself.
Any great artist is judged by their body of work. It's not just the crazy moments or the tough times, it's the body of work. And as a result, I'm so gifted to have been part of that body of work.
Grateful. That's it. Just, you almost can't believe you were in a film with this iconic person who reached people worldwide, not just in the United States of America, worldwide. So, and growing up, you know, my sisters and I would, you know, look at her album covers, and I mean, it's just, I just feel so grateful to have worked with her.
And I feel like she came into the movie knowing that there was something to prove on her part to some degree, and that there was a humility about her as a result that meant at times I forgot how massive she was.
Yeah.
I wish I'd asked more questions.
Me
I wish I'd tapped, like, really. I can't,
because she was so
she's
open.
Like the first concert I ever went to see. Is that something that you realize after the fact?
Right.
And then you're like, whoa, this was remarkable. And it was, I feel like we had a really lucky moment with her, because it was, as her sister-in-law said at the funeral, one of the best times of her life. And it was so evident every day.
Every
she showed
day.
up.
On time.
We were part of that. And that's I feel awesome to be able to say that we were part of one of the best parts of her life.
Can you share any favorite moments on set with her that you had?
One of my favorite moments on set is the scene with her and I'm saying goodbye. It was just, and also one of my favorite ones was when she was yelling at Sparkle that she's never going to be anything. Just because in those moments she was just so vulnerable and so open as an actor and so giving and there and very present. And I just saw her, she just had such a great presence for me, you know. I just felt like I wanted to take in everything I could from her, just looking at her and just seeing her on set. And she was just nurturing. Even when she was being mean in those moments or whatever, she was just a nurturing body, you know, and motherly. And yeah, that was my favorite. Those are two of my favorite scenes. And also the dinner scene, because it was funny. And anytime she had a moment to like joke around, she would. And anytime she would be laughing and carrying on and singing. She was just vulnerable and open and loving, and that's what I loved about her.
Yeah.
As a cast, have you, I mean, this is probably your first chance to get together since her death, and I was just wondering, you know, did you guys have a moment today, or was there a moment after her death that you got a chance to talk to your fellow cast members about? Because, I mean, usually when someone passes and you've had a connection with them, you know, you want to be and talk to the people that knew her. So is this today the first day that you've had a chance to see each other since then? Or
Carmen and I have seen each other.
Okay.
But the whole cast. But the cast was there.
Okay, you have to explain this.
Right,
That's
good.
a private joke there.
No, we
Yeah, right.
This is us all the time. We're just yeah. No, but the cast. I was during the funeral. We saw most of the cast, and we got to. You know, it was a moment. You know, I mean, the funeral was the funeral, and you know, we were all very sad. But then, you know, afterwards we got to talk and to share these glorious moments we've had with such a great woman, and celebrate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was kind of nice to see it felt like a family to see everybody again in a way. You know, it felt like we were there for each other. There were a bunch of people at the after dinner, but it just felt like to embrace the people that you spent the last moments, you know, together with this woman. It was a beautiful moment, and yeah.
Carmen, you didn't say what your favorite, I think you said, but you didn't say what your favorite scenes with.
Sure. I think my absolute favorite scene, I don't know if any of you are aware of an artist called Marina Abramovich. So she's somebody that just literally sits across from you and just is just entirely naked. And I feel like I had that moment with Whitney in the last scene of the film, where we're kind of like mirroring each other, and it felt like a sort of art meets life moment, because I think because so much of Whitney in real life is very much embodied in Sister as a character, which is something she was very aware of and open about. It just felt like a very pure, naked moment between two actors, but also two people that were connecting on a really deep level. It really felt like that for me. And that was the last scene that she filmed in the whole movie. So after that, it was just, it was time to wrap for her, and that was a very emotional moment, because I really saw in that moment that she had had a really positive experience that was just coming to an end. And, it's always a tough thing to end when you know it was a good time. And I think particularly for her, because it was just, it was a story that she'd been dying to tell.
What's next?
What's next for you two?
Next project?
Next projects coming up? What's upcoming projects for both of you?
I'm being Mary Jane with Gabrielle Union just got picked up, so I'm going to be co-starring with her in that, and just finished this film with John Stamos, playing opposite him, called My Man is a Loser. It's a little departure from Sparkle.
Well, my man is a major loser in Sparkle. I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
And I'm working on. I am playing Tyler Perry's wife. Yeah, what am I doing? I play Tyler Perry's wife in Alex Cross, which comes out in October.
Yeah, Alex Cross.
Cohen directing.
And ABC.
And I'm also doing 0 Hour for ABC.
I'm a publicist.
Playing opposite Anthony Edwards.
And that starts in
That's a
2013.
series, right?
Yeah, that's a
okay.
series, but Alex Cross obviously is the feature.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Any more Gossip Girl in your future?